way of making sure that the public has an opportunity to remember them.
How long have you been doing this, Marvin?
Since about 92 or 93, with the black eyed peas, sweet potatoes, and greens.
The community was almost like Camelot, if I have to look back and describe it.
And you know, I've seen Quindaro when it was thriving, and I've seen it die, and now I want to see it come back.
And it's time to take the Quindaro Ruins out of a ruin. It's time to preserve and revitalize this area, to make it something special, not just for Wyandotte County, but for people to see, learn about, and champion worldwide.
First black university west of the Mississippi. And it started in 1881. The biggest two things I want everybody to know about, or hear about anyway, is about Western University, which was the first black university west of the Mississippi, and then about William Tecumseh Vernon. Well, now this school is named after him, Vernon School. He was quite a statesman. In 1906, Roosevelt appointed him as the Registrar of the Treasury. And so all the paper money between 1906 and 1912 has got his name on it. This was the only school that the black children went to for a lot of years. The first school was built in 1887.
I was at Vernon in first grade in 1955 to 1956. And I went here for 6 years. Here is my first grade card. And it talks about a message to the parents. I want you to note the areas that they looked at to make sure that children were well taken care of, and I call it well-being. I remember just a cohesiveness that existed here that was like no other place that I have experienced in my 75 years. So I'm telling you my age. In my 75 years, I've never experienced that, but it was foundational to who I am today. We came ready for the world because we knew what the world would push at us. If you check the record, doctors, lawyers, superintendents of schools, authors, musicians, out of this school. First identity comes from parents, second identity comes from school. This was the birthing place of that attitude. Do I seem like I have an attitude?
When my mom passed away in 2020, I inherited all of her photo albums. So I just happened to be browsing through the pictures, and then the black and white ones always kind of stand out. So I have a little picture of this dated January 1958. And I looked at it and I said, oh, that's Mom teaching at Vernon School. So it was amazing. It was, it's like, okay, she'll be happy.
So that is the actual spot where they took the picture?
Yeah. She taught here for 2 years, I believe. She later went on and taught in Catholic schools for a long period of time, but once she retired, she came back here. So she taught quilting, knitting, crafts. She aged, and I went into my profession and came back. My mother became ill and ended up taking more care of her. And I'd take her on rides around the community, and we would ride around Vernon School. And she says, oh, my quilts are here. And I would say, no, Mom, your quilts aren't here. So one day during the weekday, I rode around and I saw these cars here. And I go, oh. And she says, I told you my stuff was here.
If we invite like a guest speaker or something, they cannot find it. They'll ride right past it, thinking that it's an abandoned building or something like that. And my heart, I feel like the Vernon Center not only just the Vernon Center, but the Quindaro Ruins area. I feel like it's been neglected for whatever reason, I don't know.
As you come in 27th Street, we are the only building at this point in time that has National Historic status. When you look around Quindaro Ruins area, what I tell people, we're the last building standing. You know, we're the last quote man standing. And we also are the best kept secret. You know, we're the history in the community right here. So we really are best kept secret.
They would catch the slabs of ice coming across the river because this was considered holy ground. Once they got to Quindaro, they were free. Frederick Douglass Underground Railroad 2022 Legacy Award that was presented on behalf of the work here at Quindaro through the U.S. Department of Interior, National Park Service, the National Underground Network to Freedom out of Maryland. By the one cannon blast, they had no survivors of the enslaved women and children who were trying to enjoy the thirst of liberty. And because of that, we should always stand there and have a moment of silence. Just have a moment of silence, if we can.
Marvin meant a great deal to this area and the preservation and the history for the Quindaro Ruins area.
A lot of folks said he was the mayor of Quindaro. It's a true honor for people to give him. And why he was given that designation, because he fought so hard. He really took that to heart, and he made that his mission to make sure that Quindaro did not remain in ruins, number one, and that the legacy was not diminished.
I had this structure built and would come here daily to supervise the construction crews. And just so happened Marvin came through the area and he came up to see what was going on. So I have a picture of me, Marvin, the crane, and this stone being set. Marvin cried like a baby. And that doesn't mean he was weak, but that's just how emotional and committed he was to the area. So when you look at the names on that marker there, I listed the most prominent first. I mean, that's why you have the first name there is Marvin Robinson. There were not any revisions. I wrote it, but I took my time and wrote it. So was it difficult? Yes, because there's a great deal of emotion that flows with that. This represents my thoughts. It talks about the battles that have been fought to save this area from the landfill, battles to preserve it, and battles to renew.
I want to make sure that we start and continue in honor of Representative Marvin Robinson this January, coming in 2025, and hopefully make it something that continues for eternity. As long as Wyandotte County and Kansas City, Kansas is still here, that we continue to make that a tradition here at the Quindaro Ruins.
What'd he say?
I want to see this Vernon School get to be like the Business Bureau of Quindaro, and then I want to see the Quindaro area get to be a national park.
I am hopeful. I feel like I'm working with a good group of people on our board. I feel like it's going to happen. I'm not giving up. We're not going backwards. We're moving forward.
I guess the big thing is that we have the historic structure. And having the historic structure that tells a story in and of itself is how do you continue that story for the future. We are that National Historic Place, and to be able to create this center as a place to showcase the whole Quindaro Ruins area, the first stopping point, we already have the museum. I think it really positions us well.
I can see lots that can happen out here on this space, in that space, that can just change the topography of Kansas City and to be a jewel. This is a hidden jewel here.
One day, this area and these shoulders that we all stand on, those Marvin Robinsons and so many others that have come before us that have fought so hard, their hope and their work is not going to be in vain, and that their vision to preserve and revitalize this area will one day become reality.
So it's inspiring, but I'm more challenged to get the job done.